Hey everyone, Ryan Dunford here with Team OC Racing. We're going to talk a little bit about the new release today, the 8XE Elite. I'll wait for a little bit, minute or two here until we have some viewers on, and then we'll get started. Since those of you that will be watching after the fact, you don't want just a big dead band at the beginning. So give me a minute. Hey guys, how's it going? Hunter, Devin, Bryce. Hopefully you guys are having good days. Hopefully you'll be able to make it out, Bryce, for Thunder Alley this weekend. It'll be run wet, so that should be fun. But we'll just give it a couple minutes, maybe not even that long. Just get over like 50 viewers, and then we'll get going here. Yeah. I like this shirt. The quality of this one's really good. Like, it's super comfy. So this is actually a shirt that we sell these days, guys, the JRX2 shirt now. So a little throwback with the 40th anniversary of OC. We did some throwback shirts. Oop, wrong way. I got to get used to the backwards video already. So there's already plenty of viewers on. So we'll go ahead and get going here. As far as today goes, again, my name is Ryan Dunford. We're going to just take 30 or 40 minutes or probably 30, 40 minutes, go over the car, and then I'll answer any questions you guys have after that, and then we'll kind of let you go from there. Today we're going to talk about the 8XE Elite. It is the second revision of our TLR 8XE. It's kind of a in-between release because it's taking everything that we've kind of learned from the last couple of years of development on the 8X platform, putting it all in one box for you guys, and hopefully making it a car that you can build out of the box and just go have a good time with without having to put maybe some, who knows, maybe you just want to change some things and put some option parts on. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the car, guys. I mean, it looks super familiar, but it has got the Elite status on it. It's got all the Elite parts on it. Quick shout out to Mason Fuller. This is his paint scheme, and actually this is his painting abilities on the box art because he paints his own bodies. But we saw his new scheme, and I just really thought it would look really great on the box and really pop out and show. But I think it turned out really good as far as a box art body goes. But we'll go ahead and take that off. Since we did bring it up right off the bat, the body is the updated body, right? So all the cut lines are updated. So the body should clear a little bit better and last a little bit longer for you guys. And then we'll just keep talking about the car here. So some of the things that got changed on this car, we'll just kind of start in the front. It got a number of updated parts to it. So like we updated the caster blocks along the way. We updated the spindles along the way just to make them stronger. It has all those parts in the car. In the front, it has the updated arms that have the webbing that's been added. Plus it also comes with the carbon fiber inserts as well as the plastic. So they're both in there, guys. For the front, we build the car in the kit with the carbon fiber inserts. And then the plastic ones are in the option bag. And then the rear we build with the plastic, and then the carbon are in the bag for what it's worth. And then we'll just continue along here. The shocks, anything that we updated in them, they are actually smoother than the previous version. They do come with the 3.5 millimeter shock shafts, the updated shafts. The shock body was updated. The cap was updated. Just some things along the way. It does come with new sway bars, a little bit thicker front sway bars, which a lot of us are running now. And, you may or may not want to try out. They're in the option part bag. It does come with new pistons in here. It is the same setup as the 8X Elite. So they are the 8-hole 1-2 in the front and the 8-hole 1-2 in the rear, but it's the flat and the taper. You do get the quick change gearbox, which is part of the 8 platform. That didn't change, but you do get the black towers with the silver edging, which you guys have kind of become accustomed to. They're the same towers that are on the 8X Elite as well. before I forget, you do get the new chassis. This is the -3 chassis that's on here, and therefore you do get the new rear aluminum brace for that. Coming to the center of the car, things that you got or that were updated. You do get the updated drag link that's got a brass insert in it now. You do get an aluminum special edition black front brace here. You do get the carbon fiber top brace. We updated the O-rings that come with the motor mount now. So you get 4 different O-rings. We found the Hobbywing motors. They go from a fin can to a flat can on the latest revision. And the flat can was smaller than any O-ring that we had in reality. So we included for the smaller O-rings as well now. So you get 4 different size O-rings. Coming to the back of the car here, you do get the updated arms with the webbing inside. You do get, again, you get both plates. You do get both wings. So you get the IFMAR wing and the polycarbonate wing. The shocks also have the 3.5 shafts. And the tower is obviously the black tower now. And then you do get the new rear drive shafts. So in the front, you get universal drive shafts, and in the rear, you get the DCVAs. Oops, let's spin that around. Sorry, guys. So you get the DCVAs that have the adjustable bone plunge. And then, along the way, we updated some other plastics, like we updated the rear gearbox. So you'll get the updated rear gearbox. Basically anything that we updated along the way. Obviously, it'll go in the kit because they're running the parts, so might as well put the most updated stuff in there. It's not like we're trying to use up any old parts. These get all the most recent parts. Yeah, as far as it goes, the setup that's on here is actually pretty decent out of the box now. It's one of our older setups. However, we've learned some things even from when this came out. That is the one thing I'll always encourage everybody to do is, whenever you buy any kit, I don't care if it's a TLR, a AE, Techno, Hot Bodies, Mugen, whatever it is, always make sure you check online, check their websites, check wherever you can to find out the latest setups that are their go-to base setups. And the reason you want to do that is anytime we release a car, they release a car, between the manual and the kit actually getting into people's hands can be anywhere from 6 to 12 months. So never hurts if you're going to build the car for the first time. I always hear, I thought I'd try out the kit setup. It's like, well, but we've learned another 6 to 12 months worth of stuff since then. So good idea to check out the latest setups. But a lot of you are familiar with this. You got the motor mount that mounts directly to the chassis here with the dual clamping mounts. And that's adjustable, kind of like more like a nitro engine is. You've got the large receiver box, which is actually the battery box from the Nitro car. You've got different length bones here than the Nitro car has. You do get the new lightened center spur gear. So the e-buggy comes with a 46 spur. And we did make some changes to the spur gears. So now all of our spur gears from 45 all the way up to the Truggy spur gear, which the older Truggy spur gear is 51, I think. Those all have all the holes, so they're all equally lightened now versus, I want to go to a smaller spur, but then there were no holes in it, so it was actually heavier. That was always kind of a bummer. But you're going to get, we updated the mud guards along the way, so you get the updated mud guards. There's so many things, so many little things. One thing guys always need to remember about Team Losi Racing is, whether you see it or not, if we see something and we hear about something, we're going to analyze it. We're going to see it. Is this just a fluke failure? Is this something that could happen again? Is this something that we could make better? And if we can, we're gonna. Little things like the kingpins that hold the front spindle to the carrier. Some people, I never did it, but it doesn't matter whether I can do it. If a customer can do it, I want to make sure it doesn't happen again. Sometimes they'd be trying to loosen the thread lock because they didn't heat it up, and it would pop the top off the kingpin. Well, we thickened all that up so that now, you can get on it. Fran, okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I did a really quick overview. So I'm going to check and see if anybody has any questions here, and I'll get those answered, and then we'll kind of just go through whatever anybody really wants to go through. A lot of people are very familiar with the XE already. Again, this is the Elite. This is what a Dakota or a Mason or a Tom or any of these guys, an Aaron, Anthony, so on and so forth. I mean, I'm sure I missed somebody, and somebody's going to get mad at me, but the awesome guys on our team, they figure out what's going on. They find the best stuff to run on it, and that's what we're going to include in our Elite cars. So that's what you get here. And these will be here and should be shipping within the next 2 weeks, guys, just so you understand. I mean, it got announced today, but they left a month ago. They'll be here. Of course, barring any weird custom stuff or anything like that. How's it going, everybody else that joined in? Let's see here. So here we go. We got a question here. Fran, kit, Lexan, and plastic wing. Yeah, you do get the polycarbonate Lexan or Lexan wing. Technically, we're not allowed to call it Lexan. It's the polycarbonate wing because Lexan is a trademarked term. But you do get that, and you do get the plastic or composite wing, depending on whatever you want to call that. So it's hard to call stuff just plastic these days because it does have a lot of other stuff in it. So that's why you do see us call it composite, because there's so many things mixed in oftentimes. So let's see. How's it going, guys? Hey, G, Gareth, Steven. Hopefully everybody's doing okay. I know there's a lot of craziness out there right now. Hopefully your tracks have opened up and you guys are all getting a chance to go run some. I've been running in the backyard. It's safe and it's close. So let's see here. What else do we got here? I mean, we're not going to try to just extend this. Does it have the lightened ring gear? Okay, so I thought I'd go over this. It does not. Unfortunately, we were not able to get that into the kit. When we placed the POs for the car, we didn't even have the light and weight ring gear fully approved yet. And so when we place a PO, we kind of have to order the parts that we know are approved. And that wasn't one of those things that was quite there yet. I tried to change it at the last minute, but it just didn't work out. And they'd already made all the ring gears, and that unfortunately that just is how it is. So it does not have the lightened ring gear. I know the Truggy came out recently, so this does not have aluminum pins in the diffs either. This has standard steel pins, just like the Nitro did. So this is more meant to be along the same lines as the Nitro Elite car. The Truggy's kind of the next move forward, even though they kind of got mixed up in how they were coming in. This car was actually supposed to come in a little while ago. I know we've been out of XEs for a little while, guys. I'm really sorry about that. Sometimes when you're ordering and you're kind of going through stuff, things just don't stack up right. And in this instance, this is kind of one of those things that happened. Any idea? Let's see here. Let's show this one. Any idea when the 8XT XTE four-wheel drive kit are going to ship? They were received today, barring anything weird, like they get crushed overnight. These days, so much strange stuff is happening. I mean, come on, 2 hurricanes hitting land at the same time. I mean, come on, that hasn't happened in who knows how long. So we had power go out in our warehouse in California yesterday, and literally they couldn't do anything. They had to send everybody home. So we've been getting really hot out here. So there's been rolling blackouts. So barring anything weird like that going on, where tomorrow the people can't work and can't get stuff shipped, the 8XT will go out tomorrow as planned. I know some of the dates in the system have moved back a little bit. What that is basically the way the system's designed is you got a bunch of orders, you got a bunch of POs that you place, and a certain number of orders are supposed to come. In this case, we sent them just to California, and we're going to ship everything out of California because that makes it so we can get it to you guys faster. And then some, we at the same time, we put some in and sent some to Illinois, but that wasn't what we're depending on for the initial launch. Well, we exceeded the initial launch numbers, so what it does is it moves the shipment date. So we took all the orders out of California and it filled X amount, and then that date's no longer valid, because if somebody puts in an order today, that date doesn't count. So then it moves it to the next date in the system, which is when Illinois would be getting them in, which is like next week or the week after. There's a few more coming in there. So hopefully everybody will be able to get it that wants it and wants to go run it. Has been a great truck, kind of from the get-go. So did a lot of work before everybody got to see it in this instance, and yeah, it was rough. Let's see, Marco, but you still cannot build that standard setter out of the box. No hinge or no, nope, Marco. Some of that stuff, like when we learned stuff way back when, like that inner 3 camber link position, right? We used to kind of like keep it to the team. We try to not let people take pictures of it. But the reality is now what we've learned is some people are okay with modifying their vehicles, dremeling a little bit, drilling a little bit, or somebody will come out with a cool other hop-up part, like, you know, RC Pro has a tower that already has the hole in it. So all you got to do is Dremel the gearbox, and you got the inner 3 hole, Pro RC. It's not one of those things making that mold modification. So if I have to modify a mold, I have to modify the mold, and then I got to get the parts. They got to get run. Then I got to get them. I have to test them. They have to get out to a bunch of other people to test them. We all have to either approve that go, or then we have to modify it and do all that process again. So if we wanted to do that, the 8XE would have existed as a 2.0, because that's what those types of things that we're learning on. When I just start drilling on stuff, that's usually because I'm trying to figure out stuff for moving forward. So no, you can't put that stuff on the box, out of the box, but you can easily put it on with a little bit of work on your part. Let's see, Roy, congratulations, glad you bought it. What is different about the gearbox? Well, the update to the gearbox has been out probably 14 or 16 months now. It's kind of hard to tell because of the brace in the way, but in this area and in the back, we added some ribbing into the gearbox. We added that ribbing because what would happen is some people would go off a jump and bucket and come over, and they'd slide backwards. And we found that if people did all of that enough times and hard enough, it would actually pull the ears off the top of the gearbox. So we made that change. We had never done it, or else it would have been done beforehand. But are the shock towers different? In the case of the XE, the XE's always had the 5 holes in the front tower here as far as camber link positions, and then the ones on the outside, of course. So as far as the XE goes, they aren't any different. They're just black. You can buy the black towers. You cannot buy the black chassis brace, guys, separately. You got to buy an Elite kit to have that. Let's see. I scroll, and then all of a sudden it like jumps down. It's really weird. Sorry, guys. Not trying to be a downer. Are the shock collars different? No, shock collars are the same. Oh, sorry. Yes, I forgot to mention that. As far as the car goes, it does come with the 10mm wing spacer, the riser. So that is part of the kit, and the necessary screws to put it on with that. Are the parts, let's see here, are the parts on the 8X Elite Nitro work on the 8X Elite Electric? Yes and no. The front clip and rear clip, minus the center dog bones and the chassis braces, will completely work on either car. So from basically more or less here forward wheel and here backwards wheel everything in the center, with the exception of the diff itself, is different. Well, in this case, the servo mount. Let's see. Was the older mount put? Sorry. Was the older mount put into the XTE considered for this update, or did you guys determine that existing mount was the better way to go? That comes back to when the PO was placed for this. The XTE motor mount technically wasn't even like I timing wise, I might have just received them. So again, it wasn't an approved part, wasn't anything I could put in there. There was actually quite a few revisions to the plastics that go with the aluminum motor mount, and a revision to the aluminum motor mount for the XTE. So again, we would have been another, a ways out. So no, it wasn't considered, and it doesn't work. The XTE motor mount, motor mount, because that's electric. Sorry, guys. The motor mount does not work in the 8XE. The bolt pattern for the 8XTE motor mount fits the nitro car. So with some dremeling on that, in theory, you could make your nitro car into an electric car. But you'd need to make some accommodations for some holes that you need for the battery tray, and then the body. The battery would sit higher, so you'd need like a low profile battery or something, or a different really square body. So, hey Martin, how's it going? Let's see. Have you guys been running universals in the rear as well with the e-buggy? Yes. We are running universals in the back of both the buggy and e-buggy, 8X and 8XE. Running them typically all the way forward, sometimes one back, really worn in bones. So most of us will take the front ones that we've already run with for a while, put them in the back, and put new ones in the front so that we have broken in ones in the back so we get good rear grip. And then the middle hub height position, which is why I have aluminum hubs listed on the setup sheets, is necessary for that aluminum that middle hub height position. And it seems to be like the best of kind of all worlds. You get side bite, you get traction through the bumps, you get really good forward bite. Really helped a lot as far as what we saw. We've tried to go back a couple times. Even Dakota and I have talked about this, and he's tried it at Cycle Nitro Blast. He tried it again elsewhere, and that rear end is something to knowing where the rear end of the car is going. So that's why we're running that. You really should put that on and kind of set up around that for what you need. Hey, Thomas, how's it going? Team manager, Thomas Tran. Let's see here. Wondering if screws were changed along the way. I noticed on several different size screws, the hex depth is shallower on X Elite than my XE. Nothing should be shallower. The only screw depth I'm aware of that changed, and I thought it changed before production. So the screw depth of the engine and motor mount screws changed along the way. But again, I think that was production before even the first cars came out. And then the depth of the screw for the kingpin is actually deep, the same depth, but the screw's like a little taller now so that you can't pop the top of the head off. So no, they should be the same screws. Let's see, Tim Dollar. Yes, 2 weeks. It's kind of weird that they all came together. The reality is they actually shipped out the same time. It's just that to help everybody out and get the 8XT out there as fast as possible, we shipped the first shipment of 8XT straight to California only. And that gives us about a 2 week difference. So will there be a video build series? Probably. I've been trying to coinciding the build series with kind of the shipment of the trucks. So I probably will start the 8XT build series either tomorrow or Monday. And then that usually takes me 4 or 5 videos to complete because you don't want them to go way too long. But I like to get all the information in there that guys like. So that'll start and probably finish Thursday or Friday of next week, and then I'll probably wait about a week, because then we should start shipping this. And then usually the day it starts shipping or the next day is when I like to start up a build video series. Some people have been nice enough to send me a message and say those have been really helpful. I hope they are. I'm not just trying to put a video out there just to put another video out there, guys. The whole purpose of all of these videos for me, for us at Horizon, is just to get you guys all the information that we can, to help you have more fun. Because, I mean, when it really comes down to it, that's what we're all doing this for. Have fun, get our adrenaline going a little bit, probably. Sometimes probably a little too much. Yeah, so I should be able to do a video build series on that. Ryan. Hi, Ryan. Why didn't this car? Okay, let me put this one up there. I've had this question a lot, so I will explain something about the cars. So the 8XT, as you all know, just came out, and this is a car that technically is shipping after it, but this is really a car that's been around for a little while now. So just for the sake of it, let me show you exactly why it's not on there, right? So rather than telling you, so here is the XE wing mount, right? And I'm going to come in here and attempt to do this so you guys can see. Let's just measure inside to inside right here where it mounts, right? Okay, bam, I took that off. 22 millimeters, right? I was doing some maintenance earlier on my XT, sorry. If I come in here and I now measure, whoop, I try to measure because I can't see the holes that I'm trying to put it in. All right, there we go, right? Oh, sorry, there you go, right? And I'll pull that out, roll this back over here and show you guys. 18.75, right? So you can see they're different. That's why it's not on there. The new gearbox for the 8XT, you can't see it really well. Maybe from this angle. All right. So look at the gearbox, right? Whoop. It's really, really narrow in comparison. A lot of things happen when you make a narrower rear gearbox, right? And so here's the 8XE. See how wide the gearbox is? So basically the 8XT, the gearbox is narrower, the bolt pattern is different, it uses a different ring and pinion, therefore the tower mount section is different, and the wing mount area is different, it's narrower. So it's not like something we could just bolt on. If we could, it'd be awesome. But it needed to get narrower to go with the gearbox that's a lot narrower, and that's for a lot of reasons. It's mainly for C&D block clearance and stuff like that. So you cannot put the 8XT rear end onto the 8X or 8XE. It can't be done. Sure, you could Dremel a chassis up and probably get your buddy to machine some C&D blocks for you, and maybe make them machine a carbon rear tower. But even you do all of that work, still not going to work because you don't have a ring and pinion for it. With the placement of the pinion gear being so different, the ring gear offset is way different. So, and the gearing in the truggy and the gearing in the buggy, you know, the spur and clutch bell are the same in the two nitro cars. And so obviously the ring and pinion is much, much different in the truggy. But that's why it's not in there. Honestly, if it would have fit, we probably would have thrown it in there just because it's a better, newer design. So sorry, I'm not trying to burst anyone's bubble. Probably burst mine more than everybody else's because, you know me, I like to tinker. I'd love to shove that on there. All I answered that one. What was updated on the gearbox? I answered about what was updated on the gearbox. On the shock bodies, we found a new process for boring or honing the inside of the shock body that made them much smoother. It's just the old ones were really smooth and they were up to our spec and everything, but the new ones they're smoother. I mean, if we always keep working on stuff when we have comments from people or team drivers or whatnot, we're going to keep trying. And we figured something out and was like, okay, cool. Let's put this into the Elite cars. It's actually been in place since the 8X Elite also had that. Yes, the 8X Elite Nitro car does, so the 8XE does too. Okay. Oh, good old Hunter. I know this question isn't about the buggy, but is there going to be a long wait between the shipments of the 8XTs? It's not going to look like it. So we shipped a bunch to California that covered the first initial rush, and then there was another shipment to Illinois. So it'll kind of look like they'll be out of stock for maybe a week and a half, and then it'll look like we're in stock again. But then it was a really small shipment to Illinois. So sorry, guys. I would imagine that those will probably run out pretty fast. And then I would guess that it'll probably be 2 to 3 months until we get more in. So, yeah, that's just the reality of it. You know, by the time we place POs, we do think ahead and they're placed and then they're being built and whatnot. But, you know, it's just how it works. I did answer this. Can I use the new Truggy wing holder? So short answer is no. I just built my Elite, but spur gear moves and car doesn't. I don't know if that's talking about the Nitro car. Eric, feel free to message me on like Facebook Messenger. You find any of my accounts. I've got a couple of them out there. I got a personal one and an RC one. Whichever one you find, just message me. And I'll be happy to help if I can. It probably would be really good if we got on video or something to try to figure it out. Because that's definitely not normal. I don't know if maybe your brake discs are kind of cockeyed and there's a lot of reasons that can happen. Hey, Aaron. Let's see. Sorry, Ryan. Late to the party. Is the chassis minus 3 millimeters? Yes, the chassis is the new minus 3 millimeter chassis. The bearings are the same. The drive ratio is the same as the XE. All the geometry is the same. Okay, so if you break a tower, okay, hold on. Aaron Rowley. Sorry. So if you break a tower, you can't replace it with a black one again. Yes, the towers are available in black, but the little triangle brace, this part here, that is only available if you want the aluminum one. It's only available in the hard anodized color. It's just makes it kind of nice to buy an Elite car, so you kind of have that special trick part. So, XE, can I use? I have a XE and XE Elite Nitro. Can I use the part? Yes. Question about the Truggy XT. Does the bump box have to be modified to use the new Truggy on the black TLR bump box? No. As long as you modified it already for use with the 8X, all the stuff in the front is all in the same place. So you put all the stuff, leave the front in the buggy position, and you move the truck, the back part back, and then it all fits in the box. At least that's what I did and worked. Aaron King, there is no delay in the Truggy shipping out. It ships out tomorrow, barring some type of weird thing. There will not be an Elite conversion kit. All these parts are already available. Half of people's cars look like an Elite already. This is just a way we ran out of electric buggies, and instead of bringing in more of the standard electric buggy where you typically end up running out and buying all these other parts, we brought in an Elite electric buggy so that you have a lot less parts to buy and you're spending about the same amount of money. Oh, there it goes again. I just jumped again. Sorry, guys. Have you got a date for Europe for the Truggy? Steven. Some of Europe already has it. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry about that. Stephen, some of Europe already has it. I've talked to a guy from Australia and another guy from New Zealand. A couple guys that are not in the US already have it. So it depends what warehouse you're kind of buying it from, I think, as to when they get it or have it. So yeah. When will let's see here. Edward, when will LKR, I assume that's TLR, release a new version of the stadium truck? I have no idea. I know it's on. It's always a plan. I mean, stadium truck's been a class for a long time, so it's just a matter of the demand and people being interested in it. So, okay, Ryan, can you please explain to me the inner 3 hole link and how that applies to Elite XT and XE Elite? Does not apply to the XT. The XT's got a much narrower gearbox, and so the links are already further in. The Elite and XE Elite. So you've got holes here, right? Whoop, let's go that way. We drill a hole. So you've got a set. We drill one more in from the center hole, the same distance. So we just kind of offset 2 towers and drill a hole in there. And then we Dremel out this portion of the gearbox. And that's what's referred to as inner 3. Because that hole position right there, that middle inside position is called 3. So inner 3 would be inside the 3. And then we put the camber link out here in C, right? So the link isn't getting any longer or shorter. The whole link is just moving towards the inside of the car. And anytime you take a whole link and you move the whole link in, what that does is help the car. It gives it a little bit more support, so it doesn't just waggle all over the place. For our car, it helped take some of the wiggle out of the car. And it also makes it so that a car drives around a corner and the back drives around the corner more than it's swinging, right? So we go to that position when we want it to drive around a corner more. And if we want it to swing around a little bit faster, rotate a little bit faster, we move out to 3D. But the link's the same length. We're literally just going click, 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 click. And Dakota, at a track like Nitro Challenge, he liked inner 3C most of the time. But when it came to the main, we wanted a little bit more camber gain. And there isn't the ability to go down in that position because you Dremel too much of the gearbox off and then your gearbox will break. And so we went back out and went down so that he had a little bit more camber gain. And that's the only reason he ever moved it back out. But at like Psycho Nitro Blast, there was some really tight 180s there. So he put it in 3D. And then at Wicked Weekend, he ran it at 3D because there was just, those guys needed so much rotation, it wasn't even funny. But that's the story of the inner 3C. Link position and how to make it. Why does this keep doing this? Are the differential bearings bigger in this car? Unfortunately, there are a lot of problems with them. No, the diff bearings are the same size, and I usually run the same diff bearings in my car. I mean, I usually run them. I'll probably change one out every third or fourth time I maintenance all the diffs, and so I'm probably getting, I don't know, anywhere 12 to 18 months on each bearing for the diff bearings. So, we're no plans on changing those. Let's see here. I have a question about the 8X Elite Nitro. So I bought a ProTech RC flywheel and clutch bell. I put it on, but it doesn't link up to the center diff. So what's going on with that? It's not made for a car. The TLR diff is one of the best diffs on the market. I would stick with the stock parts when it comes to the best clutches on the market. So I certainly wouldn't change that. I don't know if maybe the ProTech one, you can put there's a shim that comes in the kit that you can put behind it to push it out a little bit. But if it's not touching it at all, it needs to come out a lot, and something doesn't sound right. Same motor mount, yes. Let's see. What is it about shortening the chassis that actually causes the car to have more grip? And is it mechanical grip? Yes, it is mechanical grip. It's basically the same amount of mass in a shorter space, which essentially puts more weight on the tires, which gives you more mechanical grip. It can also help you rotate a corner a little bit faster. If you go too short, then it's rotating so fast that it actually feels like you have less grip. But yeah, that's the premise behind it. Hunter. That was Adam that jumped down there. So sorry, I needed to let him out because, well, the litter box isn't in here and I don't want any mistakes in here. Good old Randy. Who does your hair? Well, lately there's less and less of it. So I actually cut it myself now. I learned that over wonderful quarantine period. So now I save all this money on haircuts. It's great. And there's less and less of it anyway. And somebody told me I have a 5 head the other day, and just sad. No, make a mini truggy. Sorry, I'm not on that side of the world. Let's see, what is this? What I meant to ask, I have 4.0 truggy, never any of the elites. So now I bought the 8XT. So I have a TLR bump box. Can it be used on the new truggy, or is the plate needed I see for sale? In that case, Nitro Freak, yes, you need the 8X plate that moves essentially the wheel that starts your car to the right place for the 8X line of cars. Sorry about that. Thank you for clarifying. Hi, Ryan. Would you recommend anything else for the car, or not really, just build and go? Well, I would recommend putting the latest setup on the cars, but unfortunately that means you need some other parts. But a lot of people, if you're in a place that's got like higher grip, the stock stuff works great. If you're someplace in medium or lower grip, then I would look at one of the more recent setups, and you're probably going to want some universals for the rear. May or may not want other shock pistons, but that's kind of your call. Some people like the 8-hole, some people like 5, some people like 6. So it's all personal preference. I feel the latest 5-hole setup keeps the car a little flatter, and it doesn't bottom out nearly as much. So you can get off of jumps and land a lot cleaner. And it's really, really good in the bumps. It made my buggy feel a lot more like our truggy. So that latest 5-hole setup that we worked on and put out, even Dakota finally had a chance to try it at Wicked Weekend and really liked what it did. It's not like a huge difference feel-wise when the track's smooth, but what you notice is you can go just as fast or faster, but more consistently. And that's the big thing behind that shock setup. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Ryan. We became very heavy Losi cars here in Germany. I buy a XE and X Elite Nitro. Are front rear parts different? As far as the clips go between the two of them, they're identical. It's the same bill of materials for both cars. So Thanks, Ryan, for answering. Okay. Do you have service? Wyatt asks, do you have to service the center drive shafts? Can't tell if it is a CVA style with the cover on. No, we use a dog bone in the center. Length of time, you get a lot more time out of them. And they do, performance-wise, it's very similar to like having a universal, but even more free. It just lasts a lot longer. So that's why the boot's there, is to keep the dog bone in place when you're like working on it, because otherwise what happens is every time you work on it, the dog bone falls out and then you don't know which way they were in, and that can drastically change how your car works. So if you take your dog bone, center dog bone that's worn out, and you go drive and your car is awesome and you maintenance your diff and you don't use that boot and you didn't mark the drive shaft to know which way it was in and it falls out, and you pick it up off the ground and you stick it in this way, your car is going to work absolutely different. So I always recommend either using the boots or at a very minimum, take a silver Sharpie or some paint or whatever you need to mark the bones to what goes towards the diff. That way you always get them in there the same way. And then the other thing I'll always recommend about center bones, anytime you bend or need to replace one because the pins are worn out, just put a front and rear one in, and then the balance of the car stays very similar. So if you just put a front or just put a rear in as a new one, that end will tend to have more power to it and it'll bleed the other end. So the car and the balance of the car changes a lot. I know it's okay, guys. I never mind answering questions. I feel sorry for the XE Elite people. They just need to stop the video when I stop talking about it. They'll be fine. Well, 4.0 body fit in XT. Yes and no. So the front end all fits. The engine's moved considerably more forward in the XT versus the 4.0. So you need to Dremel out a whole big section for your head to move forward. And then in the back, you basically have to cut off part of the back of the body and make new body holes for the rear because the whole truck's a tiny bit shorter. So can it work in a pinch? Yeah. Does it fit awesome? I wouldn't say so. I probably should have kept. I had taken one and I Dremeled it to see how much work it would take. And it was quite a bit of work, I thought. But then I threw it away. So Julio, do you want to work on 3 big releases within a month time span again? They weren't all within a month time span to begin with, but COVID happened and things just wiggled around as far as being approved and unapproved. And yeah, so I had the Laser Nut, which was a huge release for us. And then I had the 8XT, which was a huge release. And then I had the 8XE Elite, which a lot of people were waiting on. So it was just, yeah, it's been fun. But that's okay. You know, it's part of the job. Things move around in any job, whether you're a product developer or a financial officer, you know, things move around. That's what makes the world great. I have the XE. What would be the biggest difference between the two? Okay, so the biggest difference would be if you didn't update parts as they came out and whatnot. They handle very different, mainly because there's flex in different places because of the updates that we added. The new car's considerably stronger even than the original X and XE were. You're getting all of the new setup stuff on the car. You're getting option parts right off the bat, like the aluminum front brace and the carbon center brace and the rear drive shafts and everything. So quite a few parts are different, but some people have already put all those parts on their car. So for them, they might want it if it's just time to have a fresh car. There's less stuff for them to buy. Let's see here. What's the starting go-to diff fluid setup on this new 8XE Elite? We pretty much run almost identical setups in both the nitro and electric cars these days. Dakota's started varying the center diff a tiny bit. In his nitro car, he actually runs a heavier center diff in the nitro car usually than the electric car, so the electric car can bleed a little bit more power. But it's 774 is our typical buggy diff setup these days. This question applies to all XXT, XE. Going from high traction to low traction conditions, what are the first 3 things you change and why? Droop, ride height, probably front sway bar. So those are always the first 3 things I go after. I mean, the big one's always tires. So you get the right tires in the car. Now with the setup I have, I mean, I had a track, it was wet one day and then blue groove the next day, and I literally took out a millimeter of droop all the way around and put a 2.7 front bar on the car and went out and had a blast because then I put the right tires on it and it was just fun. It was a little hotter. I probably could have gone up in shock oil, but that's just because it was hotter. You popping out kids all over the place. Thanks, Jonathan. Bibby, I explained that earlier, probably 3 or 4 times now, so maybe watch that again. Are pinions in the diffs, Elite, Nitro, and XE different? No, both buggies use the same internal gear ratio. The only difference between the two is the electric buggy comes with a 46 tooth spur gear, and the Nitro car comes with a 48 tooth spur gear. Although a lot of us have started running a smaller spur gear on our Nitro cars because the motors now, like the Adam Drake and Adam Drake 2, they got a lot of grunt off the bottom end for a buggy motor because they're kind of meant to be a buggy and truggy-ish motor. So I actually run a 46 tooth on my Nitro car too. And now the new XT will use a 48 tooth spur just like the Nitro buggy, but we changed the ring and pinion for that. And that is all of the questions, and we went over by about 6 minutes here, but that's okay. If anybody has any last minute questions, go ahead and sneak them in. I'll wait, 30 seconds or a minute here. And I do appreciate everybody's time for watching. I know we answered questions about all sorts of stuff, and that's just how it goes. I don't care if you guys got questions, ask me. Always feel free to message me if you have a question. You can find me I'm Ryan Dunford. I got a personal page and an RC page. They both look almost the same. And most people know they can find me. I do suck at friend requests. I will put that right out there. So feel free to message me. If I don't respond to a friend request, it's nothing against you. It's just that I didn't see it. I missed it. I don't know. If it's really important to you, tell me in a message, hey, it's really important that I'm your friend. Hit accept. So, and then again, either tomorrow or Monday, we'll probably start up the XT build videos, and hopefully we can go from there and people can learn a lot. So everybody have a great day. To those of you racing this weekend, have fun. If you have any questions, talk to all your buddies. That's what this is all about. This is all about the group we go out there with. It's our family. It's half the time we spend a lot of time with them versus even others in our family. Go out, have fun, relax, stop stressing so much, and take care, everyone.